take notes. If you're married, if you're not married and you hope to be one day, or even if you're just hoping to be in a long-term committed relationship without the I do part, you can learn something here. We're so blessed to have a licensed clinical psychologist who serves as the associate program chair and the director of the Psychological Trauma Studies specialization in the Master's in Psychology program at Antioch University in Los Angeles. She's also the executive director of Champion Counseling Center inside of the Faithful Central Bible Church. Erica Holmes, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. It feels great to be back.
It's great to have you back. And of course, a big thank you to Faithful Central for laying to rest our beautiful colleague, Robin Ayers, who we miss every single day.
Yes. Such a beautiful service. And I know Faithful Central was grateful that they could be the ones to, provide her with her final farewell.
So beautiful. Yeah, thank you for that. So, marriage, you're married. I love having a doctor who's also actually married to be able to talk about this. Even in the best of times, marriage can be challenging. I mean, I think, I was married, haven't been for a while, but it can provide extra support and it can also provide extra challenge, correct?
Yes, very much so. I think that, research actually shows that people who are married actually live longer and fare better. But of course, those are in marriages that are healthy, right? That can provide, as you mentioned, the support that is necessary and important.
Okay, I must have missed that research. The one I saw said that men live longer when they're married, but you're saying both men and women? Interesting. Gonna have to look at that. So you said that means if the data is showing us that people live longer, that means challenge or no challenge, on balance, it's a plus.
Right. It's a plus. I mean, we know that it's a plus in the health aspect. It's a plus in the psychological, emotional aspect, and also in the financial aspect as well. So having a healthy marriage can actually, does actually benefit people in multiple areas of life. And unfortunately, I think nowadays we miss that. As you look at the rates of marriage are going down, the number of people who are getting married are decreasing, and also people are getting married later. That's especially true in the African American community, right? In the Black community, we are marrying less. And when we do decide to get married, especially for Black women, we're getting married later in life. I think that's for a myriad of reasons. There's a lot of reasons for that. Some of the research that a well-known marriage therapist named Esther Perel, she has a lot of videos, she's amazing, talks about is the reason and purpose for marriage, that historically marriage was really about financial gains, stability for women, so financial stability for women, and also to adhere to social norms. If you weren't married, you were a spinster and all these other names. And as women's rights have been granted and women are more in the workplace and they're educated, especially for Black women, it's moved away from being this marriage for social and financial gain to marriages that where women are looking for marriages for social, emotional support, right? For a partner, not just you have a job and that's to take care of the finances and I have a job to take care of the house. And so that's how it works. No, now we're looking for emotional support, social support, actual love and companionship. So they talk about that. Now, my take on that is also that the socialization, especially of men, hasn't kept up with that. So we're looking for socialization, companionship, but men haven't been socialized to do that. There's still this idea that I'm bringing money to the table, so it should be okay. And women are like, no, I make money, especially talking about in the Black community. I make money. I might be even more educated than you. So if I don't need your check and I need you, but you haven't been taught how to show up, then I'm like, I'm cool.
That's a different take. I mean, but it makes sense. I feel like what you're describing as part of the contributing to this manosphere, this gap that I see online, and I don't know how much is reflected in real life, between black men and women, where men are saying sort of that Kevin Samuels line that you're expecting too much. You know, you're expecting too much. You want money and social emotional relevance and education, and you're not worth it because either you're too old or you're not pretty enough or whatever standard, you're not skinny enough, whatever he said, you're a leftover woman. If if you're over 35 and you're not married. And then on the other side, I'm hearing women saying that men don't want commitment, or they want to be the prize, that men want to be babied now, and that they want to pretend it's 1952 and have this standard, even if they're not the breadwinner.
I am very cautious about the information that I get online in social media,
Praise
right?
God.
Because oftentimes what is pushed, right, what gets the views and therefore comes on your feed are the extremes. I talk to regular people and real people every day, and on the men and the women's side, most of them are just like, I'm just looking for a relationship and somebody who is down to earth and can love me. Like,
most people are just looking for love.
Exactly. They're just like, I'm just looking for a relationship. But both men or women are influenced by what they are seeing in social media, so they're using that as a filter. Like, oh, she won't want me because she is not going to think that I have enough money, or and he's not going to want me because I'm not married and I have a child and I'm a low value woman, or I'm, and so they both have internalized those things. And so that impacts the way that they move or attempt to get relationships. But at its core, the regular people who are walking around every day are just like, see me, love me, can I get a relationship from so
the ones you're actually counseling.
Right, exactly.
That's so interesting. So it's like our desires are the same, but we're counting ourselves out or discouraging ourselves because of these sort of strange customs and opinions that are prevalent online.
And that are the extreme. And also we give up when we run into folks who we're on a date with who have those beliefs. So we count it serves as what we call a confirmation bias, right? Like, I went on a date and he was exactly like Kevin Samuels. See, they're all like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, dating is a numbers game. Like, you have to, sadly, you got to sift through, to find the wheat. So, but they'll count themselves out.
You're going to roll the dice.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed. Well, those are great points to consider. I love your perspective. Okay, so here's the thing. You're saying people live longer when they're married. On balance, that means it's for the good, whether you're in it, whatever your reasons are, right? In times like this, and I'm talking about 2025, because 2025 is a lot.
Yes.
And we still got another week in January. The man's been president for 7 days. 7 days. But it does feel very much like 2020. We've got natural disaster. We've got loss, pandemic. I'm not, could be bird flu, could be politics, however you look at it. It's giving that. Remembering that we did get through 2020. And now, in times of challenge, that can put a strain on a marriage, right?
Yes, it can. It can. And again, how our society has changed. So many of us want long-term relationship, but we want it for the better. We forget about the better or worse part.
The richer or poorer,
right,
sickness
exactly.
and health.
We want it for the better. And if this is not serving or satisfying me anymore in this moment, then it's not worth it. I can be better by myself, right? So there's a lot of that mentality.
The disposable.
Exactly. Yeah, right. There's this disposable relationship. And so when adversity comes, and this is not, now again, I always like to be direct and specify, like, I'm not talking about in cases of physical abuse. I'm talking about when there's a relationship and you all are just not agreeing at this point in time. You kind of see, oh, I don't know if we're going in the same direction, right?
Yeah.
That kind of stick to itness, to understand that life ebbs and flows, that we might be a rough around the edges as we're going through changes and as we're growing and as we're maturing, we're trying to figure ourselves out, that people are often not giving each other that grace.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about some techniques and ways that we can find that grace and look at some of the specific situations folks are encountering in this moment, and how we can navigate those. If you've got a question, a situation, well, the doctor is in 800-920-1580. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-511-2112. That's 800-511-2112. 800-511-2112.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Patayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Indeed. Thank you for waking up with me. Dr. Erica Holmes is here, and we're talking black marriage. B. Bell of Bad Dog Bully says, true, we just want genuine love. Like Mary J. Blige said, real love.
That's right.
Yes. And so how do we get there? There's a lot of tragedy and challenge right now, as I've stated, and I'm sure there's a lot of opportunity because every tragedy brings opportunities. But families, you don't have a home anymore. I been talking to a lot of people, and even though they are devastated, I don't know, it's almost overwhelming. I don't know how you process that. And then you've got people who are displaced, whether they're living in hotels or living with their family members. How do we manage that from a psychological standpoint? Suddenly you've got your cousin and 3 sisters living with you. Suddenly that's going to change the dynamic for your own marriage and your own household.
Most definitely. It's going to change a lot. And it's sudden. It's not like any of us had a chance to plan, right? Oh, yeah. Okay. They need to come and stay with us for a while. Their lease will be up in 60 days. So let's get ready. It was like, no, we need to come tomorrow. So as with any adversity, trial, or challenge, it's important for couples to turn towards each other and see each other as sources of support, not as adversaries. Even if we don't agree, we need to see and remember that we want the best for each other. Like that has to be in the forefront, not the conflict. Because with stress brings a stress reaction for each of the individuals. And if you're not self-aware, you believe that your spouse is the cause of the stress versus the stress being the stress, or the stressor being the stress.
Or our own selves being the stress.
Right.
It's funny because when you were talking about how quick we are to just throw away a relationship or a marriage, I was thinking about how we think that when we get away from that person, we're getting away from the problem. And then many times that problem, issue, challenge follows us from relationship to relationship because the challenge is with us.
Right, because we haven't done the work. Statistics say a little over now 50% of marriages first marriages end in divorce, and like I believe it's 65 or 70% of second marriages end in divorce, and 85% of third marriages end in divorce. Are you
kidding me? We get worse at it, not better at it?
Because for exactly the reason that you just stated. Because oftentimes when we're in conflict, it's about the other person. And we don't take a breath and say, what am I bringing into this relationship, this dynamic? How am I contributing to our relational dance? We think, no, it's you. I'm going to go find somebody better than you. But you're taking you with you. So you're taking yourself with you. And so often those same conflicts come up, and they're even heightened because you are more sensitive, because you're like, I don't want to repeat who I just left, and I see some of those same qualities, not realizing that relationships, right, are a dance. Every action causes a reaction, and maybe some of the things that you're seeing in the other person are a reaction, or a natural reaction or response to what you're bringing. And so without that insight, you're going to continue to recreate the same dynamic. So
wow, that makes a lot of sense. I hadn't heard those statistics about second and third marriages. Maybe I'll just stick to one, which is already over. So I don't know. The point is, with anything, I think whether it's your marriage or your work relations or your, even spiritual relations, when there's a crisis or a problem, one of the things I've taught myself to do is say, what is my role in this? What is my responsibility in this? What could or should I have done differently that would have given me a different result?
I think those are essential questions to ask, because the only person that you have control over is you, and the only person that you can change is you. So if you have an increased self-awareness and understanding, and again, I want to be specific because I don't want people to internalize or be self-critical, like I am the problem. So right, so it's always me. I'm the problem, but it's not about saying
I'm the problem. You're the problem.
Exactly. It's not about saying right. This self-reflection is not about you taking the blame for someone else's bad behavior,
right? Or beating yourself up.
Right, exactly. It's about let me be responsible and I acknowledge that whether it's the choice that I made or how long I stayed or my response to that question, whatever. That maybe there's something that I could have done differently. Even if it were pay attention to red flags. And so that's in any relationship. I also want to go back to this idea of how first, second, and third marriages kind of get worse. So as you mentioned, I'm right. I'm married, and I'm in my second marriage. But part of it was because I really took, when people say I'm gonna be by myself and I'm gonna self-reflect and all of that, and most of the times they're doing little workbooks and they're not really doing the work and digging in.
Or they're clubbing.
Right, exactly.
This is where I reflect.
Right. So, for me, it was really essential for me to get to know myself and understand how my history and everything that I had experienced contributed to who I was in relationships, and really becoming self-aware of what things I wanted, what things I didn't want, and what things I needed that I might not have wanted, right? Or on the surface that I did not want. And so it was really important for me to become self-aware and bring that being transparent and vulnerable in a relationship. So there are things that you can do to learn to make sure that second marriage is successful. But we have to learn to be self-reflective and turn towards, whether it's friendships, relationships, family relationships. In this time, we need to see each other as a source of support and allow for the stressor to be the stress, not our partner.
Not project that onto them.
Right.
Molly Bell says, I've been married a number of times, no children, and at 78 years old on the 4th of February, I do get lonely and weary. We need a little tenderness. Just listening. Too late to look. I don't know, Molly Bell. Is it ever too late for love?
Oh, Molly, it is not too late.
Girl.
Molly, don't give up. I think, again, and do we ever lose the need or desire for companionship? We never do. We never.
I mean, I'm always reading about people getting married at 80 and 90 and 100.
Right.
So
right. You can get married, or you can. Yeah. I'm like you can. You could have a
situationship, girl,
a special friend. You could have a special friend. So companionship, somebody to talk to, somebody to have
Molly
coffee
Bell,
with.
Cute.
Huh?
Molly Bell is cute.
See, don't knock it. Going down there to the senior center. There's somebody over there.
Don't count yourself out. So but it's easy to give up, and even in, as you said, in the context of a relationship. We just got a couple minutes here before news, traffic, and sports. Whether you've lost everything or you're like one couple I know where they've lost their income. They still have their house, but they've lost their income because the people that were their customers lost everything, so they lost their business. For couples that want to turn to each other, I know we can probably give a lot of tips, but what's the number one thing you would share?
Oh, for people who want to turn to each other, I think the number one thing that I would share is don't close yourself off. Allow yourselves to be vulnerable with each other and use this time to focus on intimacy, not sex, not necessarily or just sex, I will say, but focus on
sex and
right,
if you want,
right, but focus on getting closer to each other and being vulnerable and transparent. That means allowing yourself to say, I'm scared. We don't know where I find it. I'm scared. I am upset or angry. Most of us are able to say those words. But I'm hurt. At this moment, I don't know what's going to happen. And being able to share that with each other, because many of us are not, especially in our community, we're not taught to say those things. And if you are Christian or don't use spiritual bypass. Don't just say, oh, don't be scared. The Lord's going to take care of it. Yes, he will. And I'm scared.
And it's okay to be scared.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting.
Exactly.
That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
You can still stand where you are and feel what you feel.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean we're not faithful.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Exactly.
That's why she's here. Dr. Erica Holmes is with us, 800-920-1580 if you want to get in on this. It's all about love. It's a Black Marriage Monday on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. The Trump administration announces that Colombia agreed to accept all illegal aliens returned from the U.S. after Trump threatened tariffs when Colombia denied entry to U.S. deportation flights. Southern California officials warn of possible mudslides due to forecasted rain in wildfire areas. The National Weather Service issued a flood watch for burn areas and winter weather advisories and warnings for mountains above 4,500 feet. Potential new owners of TikTok could be a company called Perplexity AI and the U.S. government. The AI company submitted a proposal that would allow for up to 50% ownership by the government. And AT&T and SoFi Technologies kick off a busy week of earnings reports today. Boeing, General Motors, Lockheed Martin, and JetBlue all report on Tuesday, with Meta and Tesla in the spotlight Wednesday. Apple's earnings come Thursday, with ExxonMobil wrapping things up on Friday. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Lowe's knows that with job site delivery as soon as same day, you can get what you need without losing valuable time. They help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes for same-day delivery. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The UCLA women's basketball team, number 1 in the country, is 20-0 after their 82-67 win Sunday at number 8 Maryland. Bruin center Lauren Betts dropped a career-high 33 points. UCLA is 8-0 in their first season in the Big Ten Conference. The Lakers and Clippers begin 4-game road trips tonight. The Lakers are at Charlotte. The Clippers are in Phoenix. The Kansas City Chiefs are in position to win their 3rd straight Super Bowl, something no NFL team has done. They'll play the Philadelphia Eagles February 9th in New Orleans. The last major sports team to win 3 straight championships is the University of Connecticut's women's basketball team. UConn was national champs in 2016, 2015, and 2014. The Lakers are the last men's basketball team to win 3 straight titles. They got the chip in 2000, 2001, and 2002. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
1 in 3 children born today will get diabetes. This sad prediction by the Centers for Disease Control will come true if millions of Americans don't improve their lifestyles, especially by changing what they eat, how much they eat, and how active they are every day. Every 23 seconds, another American gets diabetes. Stop diabetes before it starts. To learn more, contact the American Diabetes Association or download our free diabetes education programs at learningaboutdiabetes.org.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Patayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you gonna eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
It's a Black Marriage Monday. For those who are new to the space, we typically do this the last Monday of the month. The third Monday of the month, we do Messy Monday, where we talk about situationships, relationships, and, you know, all the shenanigans. And then we try to bring it home with some sense for Black Marriage Monday. Whether you're married or not, you're welcome in. Dr. Erica Holmes is with us this morning, and she is over the Champion Counseling Center at Faithful Central. She is also Director of Psychological Trauma Studies over there at Antioch University, and we're so blessed to have her in. Be vulnerable with each other in tough times. Vulnerability is kind of like the opposite of blame in a way, right? You're showing up and you're being willing.
Right. It's the opposite of blame, and it is also the opposite of being of protecting yourself. So it's the opposite of self-protection.
Right.
Oftentimes we are not vulnerable because, well, for a lot of reasons. A lot of times it's fear. If I'm vulnerable, will you see me differently? Will I see myself differently? If I'm vulnerable, will you see me as weak? Will you see me as unable to care for you or take care of you or take care of us? And so I protect myself because I'm afraid of judgment from you or even me judging myself.
Honey Brown 24, referring to the conversation we were having before about Molly Bell and the golden years. Dating says that there is always a jump in STIs among older populations. And when I was working with Zorn Basic, doing the elder care legal stuff on the radio, I was learning so much about the relationships and sexual activity going on inside some of these retirement homes. And we were talking during News, Traffic, and Sports about the later daters.
Yes, I love that show. Yes, there's a rise in STIs. And I mean, it kind of underscores the point that I made before the break, which was, do we ever stop our desire for having companionship? And that's no. Age does not stop the desire to have connection. We are created to connect, right? But when so that underscores, it's happening in the retirement homes, right? So, people are hooking up and they're connecting. But we know that part of the reason for the rise in STIs in retirement homes and facilities is part of it is because of the generation of and how they were socialized around sexual negotiation. So part of it is they don't know how to talk about condom use or safer sex practices, and they're not having conversations about, past history of sexual experiences and when's the last time that you got checked. Like those conversations aren't having because they weren't being had because they weren't socialized to have those conversations or to use condoms and other protective measures. So that's part of the reason that there is such a high rise. And so there are organizations that are going into those nursing facilities and retirement homes doing sex education.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, B. Bell says it's hard, but being vulnerable, especially as a man, is what helped me find my current relationship.
Well, all right, B. Bell. Thank you for that co-signing and giving a prime example. If we want to connect deeply, we have to take the risk, and it's a risk to allow others in.
So you are happily married. You've been married for a while. You said this is marriage number 2.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the practices? You mentioned, being vulnerable and turning toward each other rather than away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the practices that you do? Do you guys actually have techniques like, okay, we're going to be active listeners, or we're going to have date nights, or we're going to, what are some of those things that you do, and what are some of the things that people talk about that don't actually work?
So a couple of things that I'll say. So this is going on, we'll be married 15 years this year.
Congrats.
15 years, both our second marriages, blended family. We both had one child when we came into the marriage. They're adults now, thank God. But, we were step parents and co-parenting. I think that what has made our marriage successful is that we each were invested in doing our own work, and we wanted to be married, right? So, and when I say our own work, this is my line of work. His work is on the complete opposite. He's a scientist, so he's a complete opposite of thinking about self and self-reflection. But I was interested in doing my own work. And when I talked to him about doing his work and introduced him to certain things, which is really what made me say, this is somebody I think I can marry, he was open. He was open to understanding what his part was in his first marriage because he had never reflected on that. He was open to learning about himself and being vulnerable. And when we went to premarital counseling, but it was like a group counseling that we offer at Faithful Central. We went through pre-marriage prep, and it was interesting because the people there knew who I was, and I was like, look, I'm not Dr. Erica right now. I'm Erica Holmes about to go into a second marriage with this dude. So tell me what you see. Tell him what you see and tell us what we need to work on. Like I went in there, I was like, credentials to the side because I'm in love. So, love blindness. But we both were really interested in working on our relationships and ourselves in order to be in this relationship. And so, some of the things that I think are techniques. We don't do any of the kind of structured prescribed. Do we have a date night? Do we sit down at the first of the year and plan? We don't do those kinds of things. We are really honest and open about what we want and what we need in the moment. So if I'm like he said last night, he was like, we haven't been to the movies in a while. Now, we went to the movies in December, but it's been a month. So he was like, we haven't been to the movies in a while. I was like, well, find a movie. Let's go. Like that kind of thing. Or I might say, I want a nice dinner. I want a dinner where I can dress up. And he's like, oh, okay, you want to go Saturday? Like, to one of my favorite steak restaurants, which is so we ask for what we need in the moment. And it's like, oh, okay, just tell me what you need and then we'll get that done. Right. So that it's more of kind of an organic, because every week I don't want to put on clothes. Sometimes on Friday, the hair comes off, the shoes comes off, the bra comes off, and I'm on the couch. Like,
right.
So we try to ask for what we need.
Communication and asking for what you need is part of that communication.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And being aware, being self-aware.
To know what you need.
Exactly. Because I'm not sitting on the couch like, now he should know we haven't had steak in a while and I love steak. So he hasn't asked me. See, he doesn't even know me. He doesn't even love me. Like those are some of the self-confidence. Then you're blaming him or him sitting there like, she knows I like to go to the movies and she hasn't even said any movies. Like, no, it's like, I want to go to the movies. He's like, okay, let's go to the movies.
Right.
Yeah,
that's interesting. That's one of the most frequent complaints I hear from men. Friends of mine that are men and men online, which is that we can't read your minds.
Exactly. No one can. And they can't read ours. Like I ask specifically for what I want for Christmas. Like, I'm grown and I'm old. Like, this don't bring me so I want this. And sometimes I'll send a link to the thing. And he get, now this year he surprised me. I've been talking about something that I didn't want to spend money on. I was like, I don't know, this is too expensive. And he surprised me and he got it. I was so floored. But that took like 15 years. I was like, oh my goodness, I just mentioned it and you boxed it up. But one thing that I did want to mention as well, when you said what doesn't work, something that I think is so toxic for relationships that I see online, and I try to keep up with social media just to hear where people are, is this idea of matching energy. That is the complete opposite of having a healthy relationship. Like, I match energy. So that means if your spouse has an attitude, now you're going to get an attitude because you match an energy.
Y'all be boxing, right? Yeah.
That's so toxic.
So you think part of marriage is letting each other's energy ebb and flow, and not that we have to match all the time.
Exactly. There's a term we use in psychology called differentiation, which means that I am a separate person from you, regardless of how connected we are. That is, if it's your parent or your sibling. So you can have your emotion, but if I don't feel that or I'm not in that space, then that's your emotion, and I can give you the space to experience that.
So if I'm not demanding that you match my emotion, what's the best way for me to process that? For, you come in with the attitude, or you're angry, or you're sad, or you're over the top happy. Is it to be a witness and just let you do you? Or what's the best way to participate as the significant other?
You can name it. You could be like, oh, I see that you've had a tough day. Maybe you need some time.
Right.
Or you could say, okay, you are like, sometimes I call my husband like, he doesn't like me to call him a Labrador, like his personality, but it's kind of like a Saint Bernard. He's a big guy, but he's so, and sometimes I'm more like, I just need space. And he'll come in the house like on 10, like, hey, and skipping, yippity doo dah. And sometimes I'm like, okay, you're really happy. I'm in my zen. So you need to give me a minute. And sometimes he'd be like, okay. And then he'll walk around. Yeah.
But that's not telling him to stop. It's not a repudiation of his energy.
Right.
It's just like, I see that you're there and I'm here.
Right. Exactly.
So how do we make sure that's respectful and not imposing on their joy or their sadness or their whatever their thing is?
Again, things come back to communication and communicating what you need. So we have conversations when we're not in the situation or the event. Mm-hmm. Right. So we could have conversations and be like, you know what? You see how sometimes you're on 10 and I'm on 5, and it could be cooking dinner. It could be that it's commercial during a television show. Like, and we talk about even how we're going to handle being angry when we're not angry.
Right.
And so we talk about some of the differences in our personality when we're not in the situation.
So that they can receive it not as a rejection of them in the moment, but an understanding that you might both have different needs on any given day.
And again, going back and using humor. So if you get that, it's like, we're like, if our personalities were a dog, what would we be? And he said, I'm a cane corso. Right, that's what he thinks.
They kill people.
Exactly. And in his mind, and
mafia dogs.
I'm like, you are such a Saint Bernard. Like, you are such. So we use humor. And he's like, my wife says I'm a Saint Bernard. Yes, sir. So we use humor. So we don't take each other's kind of personality traits, even those things that are a little annoying. We don't take them as an angst against us. We use humor and we internalize that humor, because of course he calls me a Chihuahua, right? Because I'm 5'3".
Wait, you went from a cane corso to a Chihuahua?
No, he's a cane corso. He calls himself. So he
sees himself as a cane corso. Yeah. You see him. I got
as a Saint Bernard, right? And he calls me a Chihuahua because he's like, I got this mouth, right? So we laugh at those things. We don't take them as a criticism or an assault, because obviously you love it, right? We're together and we want to be together. So we use humor as well to talk about even those characteristics of ourselves that could be a little annoying. And so even if he says, okay, you're being a Chihuahua right now, then I'm like, oh, okay, let me take a breath. right?
Yeah. Okay, this is a Black Marriage Monday. It's not too late to get in the conversation. Ask a question whether you're in the YouTube chat at KBLA 1580 or you're on these phones at 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and you know where you're at. It's only right here.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Attention Los Angeles County renters and landlords. Starting January 1st, 2025, there are new rules limiting rent increases for rent-stabilized units in unincorporated LA County. Most rent-stabilized units will have rent increases capped at 2.565% from January through June 2025, with exceptions for qualified small property landlords and luxury units. To learn more about the new changes, visit rent.lacounty.gov. This message is brought to you by Los Angeles County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Patayo.
And this is Elsa.
And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
It is back. It's Black Marriage Monday, the last Monday of the month. That Later Daters I referred to, it's on Netflix. It's actually executive produced by Michelle Obama. And yes, I binge watched it. It was fun.
It was amazing show. I was like, yes, get out there.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you want to watch that, Molly Bell. Get you ready to get back in the game. So what is an acceptable timeline, in your opinion, to go from engaged to married? He says, I'm old and I don't want to wait forever.
I don't believe that there is a specific timeline. I think that when you know, when you've done your due diligence, it is up to you. When
you say due diligence, are you talking about background checks and all that? Are you?
I am a huge proponent of seeking some kind of marriage counseling, going to some kind of marriage workshop or at minimum doing a workbook, because it's important to it's important for you to be aware of what you're bringing into the relationship and what they are and the things that you have to work on. And sometimes when we're in love, we have those blind spots. But my husband asked me to marry him in 3.5 months on the couch during a commercial break. And we went to a marriage prep workshop that was like 12 weeks and then planned a wedding. And so we were married in 14 months of meeting.
Wow.
So I think when you know, you know.
Artist says a real man ain't matching energy. He letting his woman sit in her wrong, vice versa. Okay, let's go to B. He's on the phone from LA. Good morning, B.
Good morning, ladies. How you guys doing?
Good morning. Great.
I just wanted to give a little encouragement to the men out there, and B-Bell, the Bad Dog Bullies, so you guys read a few of my comments. But, guys, listen, there is hope out there. I'm 53 years old, just turned 53 on January 20th. I would not be what you would call a high value guy. I'm an average dude, but I did meet a wonderful woman on Facebook dating.
Oh.
So
wow.
My main advice would be, guys, be honest. Don't go on there talking about you 6'5" and you show up and you 5'6". One of the main things I heard from ladies was these men just don't tell the truth. They say they have this, they say they got this going on, and then when you dig into it, it's the total opposite. So keep the faith. There are really good people on both sides out there, men and women.
I love that. Kwamel says 53 is still young, B-Bell. What are you hearing, Doc?
I agree. I think that one of the most important aspects of dating and finding relationships and being in a marriage is that optimism, right? Believing that your person is out there, believing that it's not too late, believing that you can find someone, there. And there are different ways. My husband, I didn't say this, my husband and I met online.
Okay.
We met online dating. So not on Facebook dating, but on another app. But we met online. So the person is out there because where we weren't meeting the people that we wanted. So, remember that optimism, believing that your marriage can be healed and saved with some new techniques and skills and maybe with some help. Believing that if you keep searching through the weeds, that person is going to be there. I think mindset is really important.
It's funny because I had a girlfriend this is several years ago, that was complaining to me about how men ain't ish and blah, 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 blah. And then she was on the dating apps. And I always say this to my girlfriends, you only need one.
Yes, that's it.
One. We don't have to worry about what all men are doing.
Exactly.
We only need one.
Exactly.
At least I only need one. Right. Some of y'all might need multiple. If that's what you're looking for,
Yes.
And that's a form of optimism. Right?
Exactly. And to believe that if you're here in your goodness, in your desire, in your beliefs in yourself and other people, that there has to be someone else. There's one other person who has those qualities, those same qualities that you bring. It's not like everybody else in the world is horrible and you're this great person. No, there's a great guy out there.
Or you're horrible and everyone else is great.
Right, true.
I mean, look, B, I think what I love what he said about honesty, because I think there's a lot of hype also that women only want, super rich men or men that are
super
6'8",
tall. Right, exactly.
A lot of women are more open than you think. If you show up, tell the truth, and do what you say and say what you do.
And you're vulnerable and open and attentive. Yeah. I mean, those are the things that we're looking for.
Yeah. Well, I asked you during the news and sports when I should have been listening. I asked you, do you have a motto? And because I always end with a quote, and I wanted to end with yours today.
Yes. And my quote, my motto, something that I live by, and I've said something similar while we've been talking, is that true growth comes from looking in the mirror, not out the window.
True growth comes from looking in the mirror, not out the window. I think Michael Jackson wrote a song.
Yeah, he did. Starting with me. But really everything starts with you.
Yeah.
And then goes
like
out,
that.
right? Versus everything starts with you versus looking at other folks. What's wrong with them or what's good with them?
Yeah.
Ask those questions first of yourself.
And I think that also is back to, this idea that instead of blaming, let's look inside and see what's going on and see what we need.
Exactly.
Well, Dr. Erica Holmes, it's always fun to talk with you. I love when you come in, and I'm feeling so inspired and, optimistic.
Yes.
Keep hope alive.
Yes.
It's been a great day and a great show. You don't forget to connect with us on all the social media. We're at KBLA Talk 1580, and I'm at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. Tavis Smiley's up next. He's fully loaded for you today and ready to go. He's in the bullpen warming up. I'm going with my quote of the day, exactly what Dr. Holmes said. True growth comes from looking in the mirror, not out the window. We got a great week ahead. I'm really excited about some of the guests and some of the plans that we have for you. So you're going to want to stay in this space. Tomorrow is a Talking Point Tuesday. History's now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. The Trump administration announces that Colombia agreed to accept all illegal aliens returned from the AI company submitted a proposal that would allow for up to 50% ownership by the government. And AT&T and SoFi Technologies